If you are super new to building an online brand, it can feel overwhelming. You may also feel like you've got to share everything about your life, everything you do, every second of the day, all your meals and all the things. But the truth is that you get to choose what it is that you put out online and then how your brand shows up. And in this episode of the Kenya Kelly podcast, I'm going to talk to you about how to get started building an online brand. So if you're thinking about doing this in 2023 or 2024, that I have a roadmap for you. Welcome back to another episode of the Kenya Kelly podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about how to get started building an online brand, especially if you're new. Now, if you have been around for a while, I really feel like these tips are still going to help you. But specifically, if you're super spanking brand new, then it's going to be helpful for you. Okay. So one of the first things to understand is that everybody that wants to build an online brand, you may be looking at someone online and you say, I want to do that. I want to be just like them or whatever, right? But the first thing to note is that before you start building a brand around somebody and you see their life online, is that you have to be careful, because who you see them online being is only a fraction of them and only a fraction of their lives. I'll give you me, for example, okay? So if you see me building an online brand, you see me always talking about business, marketing, money, right? Business, marketing, money. There is so much more to me than business, marketing, and money. I am just building a brand, teaching people how to increase revenue in their businesses through marketing, okay? If you meet me in person, I talk about so much stuff. For example, I was at lunch yesterday, a small group of people who are just trying to get to know each other. And this young lady starts introducing me to the guy she's dating. And she starts telling him about how I have this massive audience online and yada, 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 and all this stuff. And then you could just see him being like, are you famous? And so I said, immediately for me, she knew the online version of me. And I was like, I do not like that in person, that people only know this online version of me. I want them to know the real me, right? Also, they were talking about me and some of the things that I do in my relationship with God. And it was kind of painting me like I'm super, super deep. Don't get me twisted. I love me some Jesus and all the things, but I'm like everybody else. And so I had to accept what was being said, but I had to also reject and interject all the other aspects of me, so it could paint a full picture of me and not just the online me or the few interactions that I've had with this person. That it meant well by all means. But it was just there was this little picture that was being painted of me. And so I always like to tell people, look, I'm missing a tooth here, 2 teeth there. I had Invisalign. I got 3 cats. They're super hairy. Never come over my house wearing all black because the house is so hairy. It is what it is, right? I always tell people, yes, I'm encouraging and yada, 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 but I got issues. I got chin hairs. I can, snap at any moment, all the things, because I really want people to know that there's more to me. So I say all that to say that there is somebody or people, and you're like, oh my God, I want to be like that. But it's really important to know that they may be a simple, a beginner stage of a blueprint to help you figure out how you want to show up online. But it is really, really important for you to ask yourself, how do I want to actually be, right? Not just when I have my presence online and my photos and my videos, but when people actually meet me and they start to engage with me, how do I want to show up, right? And not just show up online, but also in real life, okay? So my whole point in saying all of that is, as we start this conversation about building an online brand, it is really important for you, as best as you can, to start the process of building an authentic brand. Because if the brand is not authentic, you'll be creating this false you online, and eventually you won't know who you are. Eventually you'll have some level of a situation that happens, that I have seen happen so many times, because the person has created themselves to be like this, and when in reality they're like this. The people that build a more authentic brand, people are able to relate to them. Like I love the Kardashians, right? And many of us are loving them more today than we did 10 years ago. Because the way that they showed up, it was perfect. Everything was perfect, right? And so now that we see the Hulu version of them, like now they're off of whatever network they were on, now they're on Hulu, now you see all the things. Now you see that Khloe had a scare where she had things on her face because of cancer or whatever, melanoma, something like that. We see Kim less with, like sometimes with no makeup on, her being a mom. We see Kylie talking about the things she's talking about, Kourtney. We just see these things that we normally wouldn't have seen the way that they were building their brand previously. Both are great, but they were just deciding now to give more of their authentic self. And I am encouraging you that as you are starting this brand, start it with authenticity. That way you don't have to change it down the line. Okay? All right. So first things first, you want to identify how you want to show up online so that when you show up, you are being your best self. Second of all, ask yourself, what exactly are you building online? I know you are building a personal brand, but why are people going to watch your content? Me, they are watching my content because I'm teaching them how to build a profitable business online using funnel marketing and short form video. Okay, my You, Me, and Jesus brand, I'm teaching how to walk the Christian life, even though it's an imperfect world and you're an imperfect person. Right? And so when I'm creating content for the people that are interested in that. So the You, Me, and Jesus brand is reaching Christians. Some some that have walked away, and some that are curious. My content is reaching them to get them more equipped, more in love with God, and walking into the fullness, right? Short form video is the fastest, most creative way to reach your audience in 2023 on social media. But I guarantee you that you are having this moment in time of but how do I do it? I'm already on camera, but I don't really understand how to turn what I do, long form content, into 15 seconds or 1 minute pieces of content. Well, I understand because I was just like you 3 years ago when I got started with TikTok when nobody was talking about it. But since then, we've made millions of dollars in my business, and we've helped my clients, more importantly, make more money than us a lot faster because we have proven systems teaching you how to use short form video, whether that is Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or even Facebook Reels. This is what you need to learn in 2023 to have success. And so we are hosting a 3-day challenge where I'm going to teach you how to get started with short form video, not to mention how to make your videos go viral, but also fill your marketing funnels. Because it's one thing to go viral on social media, and it's another thing to reach your perfectly aligned client, generate leads to your email list, and then make money through automation. And so that is what we're going to be teaching in this challenge. One, I'm going to make sure that your business is ready and you have your funnel ready. Then I'm going to teach you the concepts of a short form video, and then the types of content that actually works, and then strategies to actually sell your products, whether you are a product-based business, you're an influencer, or you are a coach or consultant just like me and you want to learn how to use short form video. So all you want to do is click the link below and join the challenge. It is going to be jam-packed full of information. I've been doing what I've been doing for 10 plus years, and I'm not going to hold anything back. So go ahead, click the link below, register, and I cannot wait to see you in the challenge. And then for those that are watching my business content through the Key and Kelly brand, they are learning how to build a business online, right? And so when I start creating this online brand for either one, I first say, how do I want to show up? That's me first. So I don't think about anybody else. I think about myself first because I want to be authentic to me, okay? Second thing is I think about who do I want to serve with my content. There is someone that I watch online, I think her name is Jackie something, and she is a lifestyle luxury content creator. And so when you watch her, you see her home cleaning, you see her getting dressed, makeup, her self-care tips, and you're just like, wow, this is beautifully amazing, right? And so she's creating that type of content for the people that are interested in consuming that type of content, okay? Doesn't mean that's all of her, it just means that's what she's creating, okay? So you have to decide what type of content is it that you're gonna create, okay? And for who? The third thing you wanna consider is how are you gonna make money? Okay, because the worst thing that you can do is start building an online brand, getting a ton of followers and all the things, and you're not making any money. Now, money isn't everything, but one of the number one reasons why we decide to create and build a brand online is because we want to monetize it. We want to make money. And so before you start building, ask yourself, how do you want to make money? Do you want to work directly with brands? Do you want to sell products and services? Do you plan on having your own line of products and services? Are you going to be a coach or consultant like me and actually like do group coaching, actually do courses, one-on-one speaking? What is it that you're actually wanting to do to make money? Because once you know this, before you start actually building, then you can build in the right direction, okay? So right now, where I live here in San Diego, there are 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Three. I am currently living in phase 3, but across the way, they are building phase 4. Right? And every day we see them doing all these different things with phase 4 and all that type of stuff. But guess what? Before they started building phase 4, they created a foundation, not just the building, but they like wrote out a plan. This is what's going to happen in phase 4. They drew out the plans. Here's the type of flooring. Here's like all these different things that are going to be on the inside of phase 4. And so once they have that, then they get all their materials together and the plan on how we're going to do step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way to opening day of phase 4, okay? And so if they started just building it without a plan, catastrophe. So when it comes to you getting started building an online brand, it is really important that you know how you want to make money so that you are building a brand that is monetizable, right? So, okay, because I've seen so many people that just start creating content, which is awesome, right? It's awesome. Creating content. And when it's time to monetize, they're like, well, I don't know. I don't think this is monetizable or whatever's happening. And they're like starting over from scratch because they didn't really think about it. Now, this doesn't mean your plan is going to be rock solid, like it's like perfect and all the things. This don't mean that. This just means that you have an idea. Okay, this means you have an idea, because if you have an idea, then you can make changes along the way, right? But if you have nothing, then you're kind of going here, you're going there, every which way, with no type of plan. And now I know this sounds like, does it really take all that? The smart people do it with a plan. Okay, I tell people all the time, I don't have everything perfect, but I started with a plan. You know, like recently I moved from, like I had a formal office and I was living in a certain part of town. I knew that my lease expired on a certain date and I had to be out and find a new place by a certain date. And so because of that and running a business, I said, I've got to create some type of plan, right? Otherwise, it's going to be overwhelming. I am single. There's no one here to pack my, there's just me, you know, my cats, they ain't going to do it. And so I had to create a plan. I went, okay, when do I need to be out of my office by, like formal office? And it was by May 31st. Okay. When do I have to be out of my apartment by? By this date. Okay. What all has to happen in between the time where we are right now until the time that I move out of my house and move everything to a new place? And as I made this list, it was a super long, exhaustive list, but I couldn't focus on all of it. I said, what can I do? Order boxes. Check. Order like tape, check. Go ahead and get the markers, check, right? Then I said, okay, what has to happen first? I have double stuff. I have a home office and then a formal office. I don't need both of those things. Start putting these things on Facebook Marketplace and offer up and start selling everything. Check. Okay. paint the office, all these little things. And I was like, oh, I need help packing. And I was like, hey, who can help me pack on this day and this day? Check, 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 check. So that the night before it was time to move, all I was doing was packing up the stuff that I was using that week. My makeup, my toiletries, my bedding and things of that nature, all done, right? And it didn't happen all at once. It happened because I had a plan, like right now I am building the You, Me, and Jesus brand and the You, Me, and Jesus account on TikTok, right? And so as I am building this audience, I'm like, okay, what am I going to sell? The number one thing people want from me is a course on hearing God and walking with God. And so I'm like, okay, how do I get people into a funnel so that when it's time to sell that, I have people into a funnel? This morning I was in the shower and I was like, I gotta get a free offer and serve them, right? And so now we're creating that free offer, and I'm gonna start offering on my podcast, on YouTube, and on TikTok, right? So that when it's time to sell that course, guess what? Now it is ready. You know what I mean? So like I am intentionally going like, this is what I'm doing. All right. Okay, good. Now the next final thing that I want to talk about today specifically is now it's time to actually create the plan of how you're going to be showing up online. Okay. Now, what does that mean? So there's so many different ways to show up online. There's image posts, there's written posts, there's blogs, there's long video, there's short video. There's so much you can do. And I do not want you focusing on all of it at one time. It's too much. You know what I mean? I have an assistant and a graphic designer, and it's still too much. So I'm like, we put this down, and this is all we are focusing on. You know what I mean? Like just last week, I was like, oh no, we're going to stop doing this, and this is all I had the capacity for. My team was like, okay. So now I want you to determine how are you going to show up and stick with the one thing for an extended period of time. If you're going to show up on Instagram, okay, how are you showing up on Instagram? Is it images? Is it carousels? Is it short video? Is it live stream? Is it mostly stories? What is going to be the one thing that you can start doing and you can be consistent at? Because eventually, once you get good at that one thing, then you can add the second thing, right? But you cannot focus on TikTok and Lemonade and Clapper and YouTube. You cannot. It's too much when you are starting to build an online brand. So what is the one thing that you are going to start with, okay? And then lastly, start, okay? Lastly, start, all right? Now, because listen, it's important to know that you're not going to be excellent at it at first. You're not even going to be excellent at it at 6 months. But anything you do consistently every single day, you get better at it every single day. There's a video that is going on my Instagram, and it's talking about how a friend of mine watched me shoot like a bunch of videos really, really, really fast. And she was just in awe. And she was just like, how in the world did you do that? And I'm like, well, I've been doing this for 2.5 years when she first saw me. And I was like, it's a second nature to me to do it that fast. And it just may not be easy for her to see because she's not used to doing that. But now she's really good at it because she's been doing it for a while. Okay. So for you, it's going to be important to know that whatever you're going to start doing to build this online brand, you may be terrible at it at first, and you may be terrible at it after 3 weeks. But guess what? The more you keep doing something, the better you get at it. It's just a fact, right? Like the more you learn how to you swim, the better you're going to get at swimming. The more you do gymnastics, the better you are going to get at it. Like with makeup, I'm still learning makeup, but the more that I do it, the better I'm getting at it. Okay, so I hope that you have found this episode very valuable for you. And of course, if you are building an online brand, you heard during the episode that we are actually hosting our 3-day challenge, and there's still time to join us, and this can really help you get jump started and like rock star status joining the challenge. And so if you haven't already, there's a link here below in the show notes and here on YouTube where you can register. It's 3 days, it's 1 hour each day, it's me teaching and all the things, and you're gonna learn so much. Okay, so click the link below, join us in the challenge, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.